What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Hopefully you guys have a good start to the day so far. If you guys watching this on Wednesday, we do have an event showing up in 2 days time. There is a 2x Sacred Shard event happening on Friday. So this Friday, November 3rd, we're launching two simultaneous events. 2x legendary champions from Sacred Shards. So you're looking at a 12% chance of pulling a legendary from a Sacred Shard. There will be a champion chase happening. Chase is not necessarily the best value for Sacred Shards. I'll go into that in a moment here. The second event is they're launching a 10x event to summon Krok'mar the Devourer from Sacred Shards. So we'll also talk about what I think about Krok'mar. And the duration, keep in mind that the duration of the 10x event will be 1 day shorter than the duration of the 2x event. So basically, if you don't want Krok'mar, you can pull without the 10x event boost on one of the days. So let's jump into a couple things here. I want to talk about Sacred Shard efficiency for champion chase and as well Krok'mar the Devourer, the 10x champion. All right, guys. So you guys might have seen this bit of data a little bit on my channel before, but I want to go over it here in this video since it's kind of relevant for this 2x event. So during 2x events, if you're pulling for a normal Sacred Shard during non-2x boost, it's worth approximately 265 points. So you get 250 points for an epic and 500 points for a legendary, but the odds of getting a legendary is only 6%. So, you know, average outcome, average points per shard is roughly 265. During a 2x Sacred Shard event, the boosted points is actually 280 points. So you're not even getting that much more expected points out of each Sacred Shard. So that kind of just shows you how efficient or non-efficient pulling Sacred Shards are during 2x events on a champion chase. So if you guys think that, oh, I'm going to save my Sacred Shards for a 2x champion chase, is actually almost negligible, the difference in average points. So just something to keep in mind. Keep your expectations in check, guys, when you guys are pulling 2x Sacred Shards are still the best bang for the buck during summon events because it's based on rarity of shard, not rarity of champion. Chase is based on rarity of champion you pull and not rarity of shard. So for chase events, it's always advisable to pull smaller shards and hoping for high rolls, as opposed to pulling big shards and hoping to, hit expected, I guess. So just keep that in mind. Keep your expectations in check. Not the best event for point generating for Sacred Shards, even if it is a 2x event. Also keep in mind that this champion chase on Friday will be part of the Timid fusion, so there will be Timid fragments there. It's 15 total. We don't know if it's split into 5 and 10 or total 15. My guess is it's probably split into 5 and 10, which is great for anybody that is going for Timid. It gives you some flexibility on what you want and what you can skip. It's not so good for people pulling strictly for 2x Sacred event because you'll be picking up some fragments that you would otherwise not need at all, which could be rewards in other champion chase events. So keep that in mind as well. So if you guys are deciding to pull or not, generally I do advise to pull on 2x Sacreds if you are early or mid game. If you can pair it with a chase or summon event, then that's even better, so you get some extra goodies along the way. So definitely keep that in mind when you guys are pulling. All right, let's talk quickly about the 10x champion, which is actually a brand new champion that just dropped in the last patch. I actually find him quite interesting and actually very good. So it's actually a lizardman, and his name is Krok'mar the Devourer. This is a really cool looking champion. I love the skin. He just looks like an alligator, but he looks really kind of realistic alligator. So I like the look of it. Look at his two claws here. Look at his claws. I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm a big fan of crocodiles and alligators and those animals. And look, he has little skin tag, little tags on his tail. Nice detail, right? Obviously. Anyways, let's jump into this kit. Nice base stats, 22k HP, HP base support. I guess he's a support. No, it might not be. Maybe damage dealer. He is a damage dealer. Sorry. Decent defense, lowish attack, speed is fine, and he has damage, so he's probably a damage dealer, HP based. His A1, attack one enemy, attacks all enemies one time if the first attack is critical. So you're going to build him with 100% crit rate. He's going to deal some damage. So it's just going to be an AoE hit on the A1. So his A1, actually, you hit one enemy, and then if it's a crit, then it hits everybody. So it's a double hit on one enemy, and then it's a splat, basically an AoE hit for everybody. It's a 0.18 multiplier. It's nothing, not like the best in slot A1 damage. The comparable I used was Arex. Arex is a 0.22 multiplier. So Arex definitely is a little bit heavier hitting than Krok'mar on his A1, but like I said, he has a double hit on the first target, and then it's a AoE on the subsequent attack. So 20% in books, all damage. His A2, attack all enemies, place a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equal to 20% of the damage inflicted. Also heals this champion by 10% of their max HP for each critical hit. So potentially this could be a massive heal. Heals this champion specifically, and then the shield based on 20% of the damage inflicted. So if you compare this to something like Miscreant Monster is a similar move. Bivald the Thorn has a similar move. So their shield is based on the damage that they deal. In this instance, Krok'mar's A2 hits for a 0.3 multiplier, whereas Miscreant Monster hits for 0.21. He has a slightly larger percentage shield based on damage, and he applies a stun, but Krok'mar has a heal and a higher damage multiplier, so he's going to make a bigger shield probably on average. Also comparable to Bivald the Thorn, like I was saying, but Bivald the Thorn actually has a 4-turn cooldown on a very similar move. And his multiplier is only 0.25. So Krok'mar's multipliers are actually pretty good relative to other champions with similar moves. So we can be comfortable to say that his shield probably will be bigger on average than those champions like Miscreant Monster or Bivald the Thorn. So moving on to his A3, gives in team support, 4-turn cooldown when booked, 30% increased crit rate, 30% increased crit damage, 3 turns, then an extra turn. So you basically go A3, you buff everybody, and then you can go into big shield, big heal, or you can go big A1. So I mean, it's kind of nice. It acts like a nice support champion. Crit rate's not necessarily super good. It kind of helps your support champions reach crit rate for reach crit cap, for example, but your nukers or damage dealers will be crit capped anyways. Increased crit damage and then extra turn. So this is kind of like it's a 3-turn buff, but it's kind of like a filler move. The extra turn is really nice, so you don't actually waste a turn using it, but you do burn like any buffs that you have on Krok'mar or anything like that. But yeah, it'll help him out. And then his passive, I think this is what makes him super attractive here. When this champion attacks, decrease the target's attack and defense by 5%, as well as accuracy and resistance. So you're looking at approximately like a 30% decrease accuracy, a 30% decrease resistance, 30% decrease attack, and 30% decrease defense. This would be fully reached during like a longer fight, like Hydra. This is probably where the area where Krok'mar would excel the most, in Hydra, in probably like a Hex set where he can apply Hex on his A1 all the time. Both his moves are AoE. He provides team buffs as well, so it's a huge damage boost. And then here, it actually makes the Hydras significantly weaker. Weaker accuracy, weaker resistance. So it definitely helps your champions resist debuffs, helps your champions apply debuffs, and then it'll make the Hydras hit softer and take more damage. So I think Krok'mar brings a lot to Hydra, and I think he's definitely worth it as a champion, especially if you pull him. But I think for 10x is just irrelevant for non-void legendaries nowadays. So any advertisement for a 10x champion, I would definitely take with a grain of salt. I would not put much stock in these 10x events. For non-void legendaries, I believe if you hit a legendary, you have approximately 1 in 13 chance of getting the 10x champion. If it's a single 10x champion, you have a better chance of hitting that champion as opposed to multiple 10x champions, because those champions would further dilute the pool. But you have approximately a 1 in 13 chance of getting Krok'mar. But yeah, so don't put too much stock into 10x events. That's kind of like my general advice. That's my opinion on Krok'mar. I think he's an excellent champion. I'd be super happy if I had him, and I'd be super happy to use him in Hydra. Like I said, in a Hex set would be awesome. Provoke set would also be very good. Give you lots of utility in Hydra as well. And general support champion, general damage boosting champion. This champion looks pretty good. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the video today. Best of luck if you guys are pulling. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Krok'mar. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.